Oh man, what to say? Today we played faze. Super hype match, was going to be really interesting. End up choosing nuke. Now there's a lot of talk about this, and there's Kerrigan saying that it was an accident, saying that they asked for it to be reversed. There's the admin saying no. Then there's the interview with Hobbit saying it was planned. Here's my take. I think that Hobbit probably just didn't want to say that either his coach or his IGL screwed up. I'm sure they do play scrims on it, but that doesn't mean that they're expecting or ready to play it in big matches. This team has never played nuke, and I don't expect they ever will play nuke again. This mistake will probably never happen again. It just is unfortunate that it happened in one of the most important parts of the major instead of in like a random other tournament. But my guess is that they got their 3 picks in the middle, just kind of rattled them off, didn't name nuke. Carrion realized that there was nuke. Sounds like he would have accepted them changing the veto, but the admin said no. And that's the right call. The reason that admins are in control of these things, like whether a round restarts or whatever, and it's not on the other team saying yes or no, is because that puts that other team in an awful position. That team has to decide between being nice versus trying to win the game. And the problem with leaving that in the hands of the team is that if they decide that they want to win the game because the other team messed up, they're going to get a ton of community backlash saying, oh, what about it being fair? And, oh, should just help the other team out. It was a mistake, blah, blah, blah. And that's going to go on the teams. And we've seen that happen in the past. And if they say, hey, yeah, you can take it back, now they're being nice when the other team made a mistake that they should be able to exploit. So this should always be in the hands of the admin, because that way it's not either the team's decision. The admin is following the rules, just like a ref. Like, you wouldn't have a foul in a game and then the player be like, oh, you know what, like, hey, I didn't actually foul him. Don't give him free throws, or, don't give them a penalty, or who knows, whatever. Like, that's just weird to put in the hands of the players. This should be in control of the admins, and the admins should not let a mistake like that just be passed up. So Cloud9 had one job in the veto. That's to make sure that they're not playing nuke. They totally screwed up. They got completely punished for it, and they deserve to. If you're not going to ban your permaban, then you're going to play your permaban. So the nuke match, it's almost, I don't even know if it's even worth talking about, but we will anyway, because I don't think we're ever going to play nuke again. I think this showed that even if they were using it as a punish pick, that they're never going to play it again. So it started off fairly well, but it kind of went in the same pattern that you see a lot of these punish picks or teams trying a new map or new strat or whatever for the first time. It went very similar to how a lot of these go. They start off hot, they got the energy, they're throwing in stuff that the other team doesn't expect, but then the other team sees what the gaps are, exploits them, and then the team that's playing it that has never played it doesn't know how to fix it, doesn't know how to read it, doesn't know what's going on, and then they just get owned. So you see they went up quickly 7-3, and then I don't think they won a round after that. And then on T side, or maybe they won one round after that. But then on T side, they move over, and you could see from the pistol round that they didn't know what they were doing on T side. They get the advantage. They didn't know how to exploit it. They didn't know how to trade with each other. They didn't know where to go. It was just totally discombobulated, and their T side just got completely shredded. And they just didn't get enough rounds CT. I was thinking when they chose this, they're going to need like 11 CT rounds, because this is what always happens. Is it comes out a punish, or it comes out as like a random pick, they have to get a lot of those surprise rounds. So the game was probably over when it was, I think, 7-2, and they had just won that eco. And then it's a full buy versus full buy. They lose. They're now back on a double eco again. And from that point, it's going to be over, because they're going to lose the double eco. So it's going to be 7-5. And then they're just going to kind of get snowballed from there. Again, another map where Shiro didn't have any impact with the op. He didn't even get the op a lot in this one. I think he only had it on 1 or 2 rounds on CT side. Got no kills. I don't know if he even was able to pull it out on T side. And just a huge blunder overall. And if Hobbit is right, that they have been practicing it and we're going to try and use it as a surprise punish pick, that means that they either don't think they're good enough to straight up play phase, which is a problem, or they completely misread how well they actually are, how good they actually are at the map. I think either thing is possible. My biggest hope, honestly, is that they did just screw up the veto, because that's the only thing that would make this not seem awful. Because if they decide to use it as a punish, I think that is bad optics, bad mentality potentially, and then their scouting was poor or their practice was poor, because there was just so many problems with how they were playing nuke. There were so many times that FaZe was just execing on A, and the player playing behind the silo doesn't know that there's a player coming on the other side. There's players wrapping around back that they don't know where they are. Just so many FaZe players getting lost and Cloud9 getting shot in the back. They clearly didn't know what they're doing on CT side. They were very uncomfortable. They were fragging out of their mind at the beginning, but that wasn't enough once FaZe actually figured out what they needed to do. The bummer is that they were fragging really well, and I would say day one they were not. So if you took this fragging and put it at day one, they're probably 2-0. So I think if you put them on a map they're comfortable on and they have this same aim and same fragging power, they probably win. Or at least it's a really close match, not whatever this was. So I think no matter what happened, this is awful. Either just a complete mental lapse during the veto, which you would think that when you're going up against Kerrigan and FaZe, you'd be thinking a lot about the veto and thinking a lot about what you want to do. And Kerrigan is not the IGL that I feel like a surprise. Hey, we've never played this map before, so we're going to surprise you so you don't have any data on us. He's still going to figure it out just like he did. So he's not like the kind of IGL that I would feel comfortable doing something like that on. I'd much rather play a map that we're comfortable on and see if we can't outstrat and outfrag them. So the road ahead is looking pretty bleak. It is looking better now that we drew Imperial. That is a very nice draw. I don't know who we'll get if we beat Imperial. I don't know how to calculate these things. I want to figure it out, except it only matters for one more day. But to draw Imperial over some of the other 1 and 2 teams is a fantastic draw. They're probably the worst team left. So we should win. We should win 2-0. And then hopefully we can go into the last day, get another good draw, or just show up and play well. We're going to be playing all good teams from here on out. Imperial is probably going to be the worst team we're going to play from here on out. So it doesn't really matter whether we're playing a really good team or a really bad team at 2 and 2. It's all best of threes, win or go home from here out. I still think we can do it. I feel much better, like I said, because of Imperial. If we had pulled Vitality or Big or something like that, I'd be very nervous that we weren't going to make playoffs. But this gives us a much better shot, a best of 3 to hopefully win and move us in the right direction. And then we can take that into the next match, probably against Vitality or NIP. I don't know if we can play Outsiders again. I don't know how that works. I'm assuming that we probably can. But just such a bummer, you know, going into this map. It could have been such a good match. We could have seen a lot, but now we just have a match that's just a complete throwaway, just like a complete waste. And there was never a chance for us to win that. And I don't care who we were scrimming against. To throw that into a major on purpose, I think is a huge mistake. To not have it be in the vetoes, also a gigantic mistake. So either way, worked out pretty poor. And we saw that. We got completely owned. So we got Imperial tomorrow and then another game on Monday, hopefully. Either way, I'll have a pod out tomorrow. I'll see you then. Follow me on Twitter at Cloud9_win, and let's get to the playoffs.